Good day, students, and welcome to your second lecture of Introduction to Mass Communication. In the previous lecture, we defined what communication really means and what are the common types of communication. In this lecture, we will try to understand the different levels of communication, that how we communicate with each other on a different levels in our daily lives. People communicate with each other and other entities on many different levels. And as we know that we do not have specific telepathic power, so we rely on communication to convey our message and get a feedback depending upon the message and the context in which it is being sent. So without further ado, we come to the different levels of communication, that how we communicate on different levels in our lives. After watching the full lecture, we will be able to understand a few most relevant levels of communication, that are intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, extrapersonal communication, group communication, and lastly, mass communication. Now, we come to the most basic level of communication, that is intrapersonal communication. Intrapersonal communication occurs when an individual sends and receives messages internally. Or we can say, in other words, that intrapersonal communication refers to the way we communicate with ourselves, or a communication within a person. How many of you talk to yourself either out loud or just in your mind? For example, when you are memorizing for your upcoming quiz, when you are making a decision, you are doing an intrapersonal communication. When you are getting angry at someone or getting happy with someone, in your mind you are doing an intrapersonal communication. Or when you are daydreaming, you are doing an intrapersonal communication. Intrapersonal communication take place simultaneously in our minds until we die. And an individual is in a continuous flow of thoughts and do not follow any particular patterns in intrapersonal communication. Now we come to another level of communication, that is interpersonal communication. It is a universal form of communication that takes place between two or more people who are interdependent and have some knowledge of each other. Basically, it adds a second person to the equation. The level of communication can be personal, like talking to your peers and friends, talking to your batch mates, talking to your siblings, family members, or it may be impersonal, it may be a complete stranger. Face-to-face conversation, informal communication with your peers are the common examples of interpersonal communication. It's an ideal and effective communication because you can get an immediate feedback, or one can clearly emphasize on many points during a conversation through your expressions, emotions, and gestures. Now, we come to extra-personal communication, which occurs between human beings and non-human entities, or we can say, in another words, when human interacts with some other species or even non-living entities, like talking to your pet animal or talking to the plants that you grew in your garden, or even in some circumstances with non-living beings like AI robots, artificial intelligence robots, or I talk to my car. So when a person talks with its pets, plants, or his gadgets, it is construed as an extra personal communication. Now we come to the group communication. Before going into the definition, we will understand what a group really means. A group is a number of people who possesses a common interest and goals, who interact with each other to accomplish their goals, including collective decision making and self expression. Now, if we come to the definition of group communication is an extension of interpersonal communication where more than two individuals are involved in exchanging of common ideas and skills and agenda to accomplish their common interest and goals. The common example of group communication are a classroom lecture on a specific topic or an organizational meeting is construed as a group communication. Now we come to the most important level of communication, which is mass communication. Mass communication involves communication with mass audience and refers to the process by which we communicate with a large, diverse, heterogeneous, more or less unknown audience using a sort of medium, or we can describe mass communication as any mechanical device that multiplies messages and take it to the large number of people simultaneously. The common example of mass mediums are TV, radio, newspaper, Netflix, books, social media platforms, live streaming, magazines, advertising, and many more. But understanding the real concept of mass communication is really significant for this subject. So we will explain the different aspects of mass communication in our upcoming lectures. So stay tuned and subscribe to my channel, and I hope you to understand the different levels of communication. And if you didn't, do let me know in the comments below or in your specified WhatsApp group. Thank you so much.